Welcome to another episode of Video Game Reviews, and this time we're going to be talking about Valfaris on the Nintendo Switch. Okay, if you don't know what this is, there was a little game out called Slain Back from Hell, and so this is the same developer, and I think it takes place in the same universe. Actually, it does take place in the same universe. But I won't really go into that too much. So even though it takes place in the same universe, it is a vastly different game. So this game, Valfaris, is more like a dark, heavy metal, H.R. Geiger kind of inspired, really dark Contra-like game almost. But it is significantly more difficult than Contra. This is one of the most difficult, in my opinion, this is one of the most difficult games that I've ever beaten. It's insanely hard. There's going to be, for most of you out there at least, there's going to be a lot of trial and error, and you have to be really, really determined to see this game to its end, but it is possible. And so that's really the great thing about it. This is like in my opinion, this is like the hardest that a game could possibly be, and still be fun, and still be fair. Like I said, it's a lot of trial and error. It's every time you die, you're thinking, oh, wait a minute, I think I can do that better this time, and here's how. Oh, let me go back and try this, yada yada. And the other nice thing about the difficulty is that even though it's insanely hard, there are a lot of checkpoints, and they are, for the most part, reasonably spaced out. Like, you're not going to in most cases, you're not going to have to repeat too much when you die. Which to me makes all the difference in the world. I don't really care that much how hard a game is, as long as it's fair, and as long as I don't have to do a lot of, repeating myself or repeating extremely long segments of the game. And so fortunately they really did it right here. So I guess next I'll talk about the graphics are awesome. I don't know how they're going to come through on this video, but it's a great looking game. And it's a great sounding game, much like its predecessor, Slain Back from Hell. It's got a really good instrumental, heavy metal type of soundtrack that really fits and just really works well for this game. The controls handle really well. It feels great to play. I'm gonna say this game is probably easily in my top 5 favorite Switch games of all time. And probably, yeah, I feel pretty good about that statement. So, and the crazy thing is, I had this game on my wish list at one point, and I just kind of sat on it, and at one point I even took it off my wish list. I was like, I don't know if that game's a must play or not. And then for some reason, on a whim, I went back, re-added the game to my wish list, and wound up buying it not too long after that. And I am so glad that I did, because this game has just been a joy. The game has been a real pleasure, a really, really great experience, and I'm glad that I did give it a chance. And if there's anyone out there who's in a similar position, they've seen this game, they've been on the fence about it, I would strongly encourage you to take the plunge and give it a shot. Now, there is a caveat to that. Obviously, like I was talking about before, if extremely hard games are not your thing, then probably don't get this game. But if you can deal with the difficulty, knowing that there are a good amount of checkpoints, then 100% pick this up. Now, I think that the regular price for this is like $25, but I got it on sale for like $12, I think. So I would say if I had paid full price, I wouldn't be upset about it at all. Like, this is one of those games that in my mind would have been worth the full price of admission. However, if you want to stick it on your wish list and wait for it to go on sale, that's, I couldn't blame you for doing that either. Because I can't give you an exact timeline, but I will say that it's not that rare that this goes on sale. So, I mean, if you'd rather wait it out, if you've got a little bit of time and patience, then you could certainly go that route. But it's also worth picking up immediately if you're just overdue for playing a really quality title, which this is. So if you see me like kind of goofing off in these videos, it's because I am definitely not, like, I've finished this game, but I wouldn't say that I'm like a master at this game or anything. I've only played through it once, and it was extremely difficult. So if in some of these videos it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, it's because I'm, trying to figure things out for the first time. So you've got 3 basic types of attacks. You have a standard gun, okay, like a standard projectile, and then you've got a melee weapon, which is a sword, or other things like a sword, other melee weapons that you can get, and then you've got like a really powerful distance or ranged attack, which drains it's typically another gun, but it's a really powerful gun, and it will drain, if you see in the upper left-hand corner the blue bar, it will drain your blue bar. And so for each one of those 3 categories, you find quite a few different weapons in each one of those categories, and you can level them up, but you have to find materials to level them up. And I'm going to tell you, it's either very, very unlikely or maybe impossible for you to level up all of the weapons in one playthrough. So you're going to want to save your materials and use them wisely and use them cautiously. Okay, so I would say, like, kind of the way that I would play a game like this, basically don't upgrade anything until you absolutely need to. And so that way you don't wind up wasting upgrade materials on a weapon that turns out to be not that good, or you get a better weapon in that class later and you wish you had the materials to upgrade that one instead, but you wasted them on some kind of mediocre weapon earlier on. So, just look out for that. Try not to do that. Try to save those materials. You'll see sometimes in the video here that there's a block maneuver. Okay, it's like a force field thing, and if you time it just right, you can catch enemy projectiles and send them, shoot them back, and that can be really powerful. Although with my playstyle, I gotta be honest, I didn't use it that much. There were a few instances in the levels where it was really helpful or borderline necessary, and there were a few bosses where I would say the same thing. A few boss attacks, it either really helps or is almost necessary, but I would say for much of the game, you don't really have to master the blocking and the counter mechanics if you don't want to. Like, you can get by without it. So it's kind of up to you how you wanna play it. And I feel like they just did, between the artistic style and the soundtrack, I feel like they really just did like kind of a fantastic job in creating a world and creating a feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, creating this consistent feeling so that the world is believable. And it's just, I don't know, man, it's just fantastic and imaginative, and like to a degree that I would say is uncommon, like to a pretty impressive degree. And there's also a risk versus reward mechanic in, okay, so in the upper right hand corner you'll see this sort of green diamond, and you have to have one of those in order to activate a checkpoint. except for at the beginning of each level, there's like a free checkpoint. But as far as the checkpoints in the middle of a level, they require one of those green diamonds. And so what you can do is you can either use one of the green diamonds to activate a checkpoint and save your game mid-level, or you can try to save your green diamond and make it to the next checkpoint without saving your game and without having a checkpoint. And so the advantage to that is if you hang on to those green diamonds, they actually increase your life bar. And if you spend them to save your game, then it drops your life bar down. And then also, that's not even it, and then also at the end of levels, you can choose to trade any of your remaining green diamonds for upgrade materials. Okay, and so you can either get those upgrade materials, or you can hang on to your green diamonds, so that way your life bar will be a little bit longer. Okay, and then also they switch up the gameplay. They do a pretty nice job of that, I feel like. There's a few instances, like you'll see in some of the videos here, where you actually wind up piloting a mech, which is pretty awesome. And then there is... let's see, there's a few instances where like you'll wind up riding a flying worm, like a flying, not really a dragon, like a flying worm basically, or riding on the back of a giant beetle type of thing. They do a good job of switching up the gameplay. And with the variety of weapons and all of the possible upgrades and everything, like, the gameplay is already pretty varied to begin with. And of course, like I've mentioned, extremely challenging, but also really engaging and kind of addicting. So that's it, man. I've got a couple more minutes of footage on this game, and I want to let it play because it's just an awesome game to look at and, let you guys see what it's all about. And so I had this idea where, with this channel, I would talk about the game, but I would also just let the game play and let y'all kind of watch footage. And I kind of tried that once or twice, and what I noticed was, based on the stats that YouTube shows me, is right around the time that I stopped talking, people shut the video off. So it looks to me, and y'all can leave me comments or feedback below, but it looks to me like people don't want to watch just game footage. Like, they want the commentary. So I guess my choices as a creator are to either, have something to say or end the video early. But again, you guys can let me know in the comments down below how you feel about that issue. Are you cool with just watching footage, or is that kind of boring? I don't know. I don't really see a lot of other creators doing that, just letting the gameplay without commentary. And so I thought that would be something to do on my channel that nobody else is doing, but maybe there's a reason that no one else is doing that. Anyways, so this is Valfaris. I 100% recommend, if you like really difficult old school games that are still fair, imaginative, extremely enjoyable, and super rewarding if you manage to complete the game, definitely run out and pick this one up, or at least put it on your wish list. It's incredible. Alright, well, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the episode, please click like and subscribe. Click the little bell notification. I would love to get more than 2 viewers on my videos. I do have fun creating these things. It is really satisfying for me, but it's also satisfying to know that the people out there are watching them. So, anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.